And Sophia's off, ready to go. Yeah, so both of our races are playing on the Japanese version. Saves 3 minutes over the English version in text alone. So it's really nice time save. It just makes runs a little bit more bearable. So here we have the climb, which is one of the hardest movement bits in the run. It's right here at the start. Sophia doing a little bit of a modified climb, but still got her up there fairly quickly. Not sure what's going on with Reserenn's restream. Hopefully we'll get that figured out here shortly. Anyways, pretty much the entire objective of this game is to listen to whatever the computer tells you to do. And he told us to go kill a defenseless frog that has been infected by a parasite. And it's hidden in a corner of the space station that we'll never go back to ever again. It's pretty awkward. Now they'll be making their way off to missiles. Looks like Reserenn's having internet issues, which is not good. Gonna cause, I guess, several minutes of delay to his restream. So I guess we'll just kind of have to hang around, watch for Sophia here. She's about to go pick up her missile upgrade. And missiles in this game are pretty good, at least for this stage. Since the normal beam is honestly pretty garbage, it does like no damage. Missiles are going to be our best friend here for the first, 10 minutes or so. We'll be doing a lot more damage, much quicker, and will allow us to fight bosses. All the good stuff that missiles normally do in Metroid games. Sophia getting a 256 missile. Not a bad time at all. Now that Sophia has missiles, we'll be heading off to fight Arachnus. So a little Metroid 2 throwback. Along the way, we will be picking up, or I guess we won't be picking up, we'll be seeing the first element of RNG in the run. And that'll be eye doors. So eye doors are really dumb. They are complete RNG, and they can shoot up to a maximum of 12 beams at you. So each beam loses roughly 3 seconds. So in theory, it is possible to lose upwards of 36 seconds just from eye door RNG alone. And not even just that, it is also RNG how fast the eye door opens. Looks like Sophia getting a 0 beam? Wow. Okay. So Sophia just got a 0 beam and had really fast opens. That was really good RNG. And you can also do doubles on the eye door to skip entire rounds. Oh, looks like Reserenn's restream is back. Looks a little bit laggy though. Anyways, Sophia is doing the Arachnus fight. Looks like she got one roll. Had a kind of a mess up at the end there, but she'll be going for a double on this core. I guess she didn't attempt it. Her setup was a little off. But there's the morph ball upgrade. So you can get a double on a core because the cores have square hitboxes. So if you get it to run into 2 missiles at the same time, it'll do double the damage and skip a phase of invulnerability, which is about 3 seconds. And if you kill the core on the same spot in which the actual upgrade spawns, then it'll actually just spawn right away for you to pick up. Yeah, looks like Reserenn is still having quite a few internet issues, dropping a lot of frames here. I mean, at least we know he's here. It's always good. So coming up, there is an option to pick up an extra missile pack. I think both of these runners will pick up 45, but I'm not 100% sure. Most new runners will opt to pick up this extra missile tank because it makes Sector 1 more consistent, which is the next area we'll be going to. And it also just speeds up a couple fights later in the game. It's just all around a much easier alternative to only getting 40 missiles, which saves about 3 seconds, but it's kinda difficult. Sophia's got some crazy ass base. This is always the good thing about using her audio, because it just makes you hyped up. So now Sophia is into Sector 1. Sector 1 will need at least 3 missiles by the end of it to destroy an eye door. So we're going to need to conserve our missile count, make sure it's high enough at the end to kill the eye door. And meanwhile, there's a lot of enemies in here, and there's a lot of enemies in here that are faster to kill with missiles, or you need missiles to kill. So hopefully we'll be seeing them stay at full health, or at least close to it, so that they get more missile drops. If you're at full health, you will get 100% missile drops, and if you are at full missiles, you will get 100% health drops. Looks like Reserenn did pick up the main deck missile. Definitely opting for more safety. Sophia did take a couple hits there to start out, which is not a good start, but she's keeping her missile count high by conserving missiles in that Hornode room. So if she can get through this pirate room, ooh, taking another hit from those rhinos. Those rhinos do a lot of damage, and they're kind of hard to hit, depending on where they are. Sophia's taking an alternate strat down the room, but ends up actually taking an extra hit at the bottom. So her health is looking in pretty rough shape. Getting a lucky missile drop there, so she'll be fine on missiles, but the upcoming pirate shaft could be a little risky. Getting good RNG on that stabilizer. If that stabilizer is actually rising, you can kill it all in one go, but if it's dropping down, you can only shoot 2 missiles into it before it will be out of range of your missiles. Taking a bit of a tumble, but it doesn't really matter. She ended up actually getting an extra green X out of it, and is really good on missiles. 14. We only need 3 at this point. Definitely a solid start for her. We'll see if she can get another zero beam on this eye door. Taking a 1 right there. 2, 3, damn. 4 beams. That's not great RNG. See if she can get any doubles on this core. Unfortunately, does not get any. But on those I-beam cores, if you There are... Okay, so doubles work a little bit differently on those. Because it is such a small hitbox, you have to have 2 missiles hit it at the same point, at the same time, rather than just having it run into 2 separate missiles. So it's a little bit tighter of a window. Now that we have the charge beam though, as we see there, it's pretty broken. Instead of taking 3 missiles to kill that stabilizer, it only took 1 charge shot, because the charge shot has 3 separate parts. It has 2 actual beams that each do 10 damage, and then it has a flare that comes around the arm cannon that does an extra 6. So with that, we can make certain enemies or bosses completely trivial, as if we used missiles, they would be a little bit slower. Meanwhile, Reserenn's stream is still lagging, really far behind. Hopefully his internet allows him to continue, because this is not good. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be doing a handoff here in commentary. Unfortunately, I have to drop out. So instead, Crunchy will be taking my place for a little bit, and then we'll have Rosu123 joining him. So yeah, thanks for watching, everyone.
Hello everybody, I'm Crunchy Lex. You'll have to forgive me if I sound a little bit out of sorts. I'm going to be holding down the fort for a few minutes until Ross gets here. But you are all watching this fantastic match between Sophia and Reserenn's PowerPoint. No, I'm kidding. Just having a little bit of trouble with his ISP, but that's just what we do what we gotta do. But it seems like both of them have probably finished up Sector 1 at this point. We'll be heading on their way to Sector 2. Seems that neither of them had too much trouble with missiles. Looks like Sophia having 21 missiles opted to grab the extra main deck missile tank. Very, very good safe move for early game and increasingly popular these days. But in Sector 2, missiles are a bit less importance, health being the big concern. So we're going to see how Sophia plays off in Sector 2. Now, because Sophia, from what I understand, is a much newer runner, and Sector 2 is one of the more difficult things in the early game, especially when you're first learning this run. Those Zoros, those red slug-like things crawling around the walls and the ceiling and the floors, do a whopping 45 damage, which at this point is quite a bit of their huge chunk percentage of their health. So we're going to see Sophia try to go through this first large room as quickly as possible, only killing one or none of the Zoros, because killing with them early on will actually make one spawn later on in this room. Uh-oh. Oh, she grabs the X, though. Thankfully dodging the... Oh, that yellow X might try to form, and she beats it. You saw it trying to fly up that little wall there? It forms there, making that climb much harder if you kill an early X. I mean, Zoro. Opting to jump over the second Zoro in that one room. Ideally, use a charge shot and 2 missiles to kill it fast so you don't stop running. Because Monkey probably mentioned it, but I'm going to briefly mention it again. In this game, you want to, if you're moving horizontally, you want to be running as much as possible, because jumping is substantially slower horizontally. So if you can avoid jumping, be it by using missiles or even in some cases by just doing other shenanigans of that sort, you want to. You want to. Unfortunately, in the case of these Zoros here, it's actually a bit of a tight window to hit 2 missiles before you run into it. So having a clean fall, though. So yeah, so far Sophia's doing pretty darn well through this first part of Sector 2, opting to take a couple of safety strats to avoid the hits, which is absolutely fair, because Sector 2 can be brutal. But picking up the bombs. Now the bombs in Metroid Fusion are regrettably not quite as nice as the bombs in some of the other games. We're not going to be seeing bomb jumps, really, in this game. Or rather, infinite bomb jumps, which you may have seen in Super Metroid or Zero Mission. In this game, does not work. The blast radius is too small, the bomb timer too long. So instead, little single jumps like this is about the extent of what we'll be seeing. Alright. Meanwhile, Sophia making her way through Sector 2 in great shape with health. I would say, it's hard to tell where Reserenn is, again, just because of the internet woes here, but presumably also in Sector 2 at this point. Ooh, gotta watch out for those pancakes. Those pancakes do over 30 damage, which normally is not a big deal, but depending on how your Sector 2 is going, we have seen pancakes ruin folks' run. Oh, moving into one of the big major vertical parts of this sector. So be having a little bit of a difficulty with that climb, but making it through all right. Now, on her way to fight one of the more RNG-heavy bosses of the run, Zazabi. Now, I don't know if Monkey talked too much about the how big of a factor RNG is in this run. It won't make or break your run necessarily, but it will definitely make the difference between getting 1 minute in the on-game timer and the next. Zazabi is one of the big ones, because you have to basically wait for it to jump up and reveal its weak point, and there's getting 0 extra jumps on that first phase. Basically, Zazabi will give you a random number of extra jumps between revealing its weak spot and, you know, the next time it does it. Anywhere between 3 and 12 extra jumps. So far, Sophia having some decent luck here. Oh, I spoke too soon, getting a maximum number of jumps on that phase. So, assuming I look to be about a 6 or a 7 there, which is about average. You get that, you can't really complain. Sure beats getting those double digits. Alright, looks like Sophia has yet to learn the tricks of the double missile, which is definitely a challenging trick to learn when you're first picking the game up, but a very important one. So, if Reserenn's internet cooperates, I'm sure we would be seeing him do some doubles. And so hopefully we hope that'll improve, and we can talk about them a little bit more when we see them happen. In the meantime, we're getting a little bit of a preview of things to come here on Sophia's stream. About to face the first time we see the Sax in the same room with us. Now, when you were a kid, this Sax probably frightened you quite a bit, and its AI in this game is actually pretty dopey in ways, but as it turns out, the Sax is every bit as scary as you thought it was as a kid, because we will be dealing with it later. And if you just start taking that thing for granted, it can and will murder you outright. The Sax is a threat throughout this run, and as soon as you stop worrying about it, you make mistakes, and it shoots you. Its ice beam, is a force to be reckoned with even into the late game, the times we face off against it. Alright, Sophia opting to go up the right side of this main room, which is faster in the task strat, but realistically, if your bomb timing isn't quite right, going up the left serpentine side is actually about half a second faster on average, but we often tend to see runners do one or the other. There's really no rhyme or reason. I think older runners tend to go up the right, or folks who maybe have learned off watching older runs. Alright, meanwhile on Reserenn's, looks like he's heading toward Sector 2 at about the 12-minute mark. So I think that's probably going to be our best bet. So Sophia leaves Sector 2 at about 19:20. We'll have to wait and see when Reserenn's slide shows him leaving Sector 2, and we'll have to kind of judge it based on that. And you may have noticed also, those Zoros, they are no longer big red and crawling around, they are now cocoons. They go from being one of the most dangerous early game enemies to being one of the worst enemies in the entire Metroid series. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Alright, but Sophia heading down into Sector 4 now. Sector 4, humorous fun fact, is the only sector where you come off the elevator and go left. But this is actually probably the first sector where everything really starts coming together and the run starts becoming a lot more challenging. There's a lot of very quick movement in Sector 4 where messing it up costs you a fair bit of time. And the boss of Sector 4, aside from being the poster child for why the Charge Beam Infusion is so good, is actually also can lose a fair bit of time if they're not performing well. And looks like I'm being joined here by Ross, who is going to be taking over for me. Apologies, folks, but I'm a little bit sick, so I'm just holding it down for a bit. Ross, it's all you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, no problem. I'm Rossu, and I'll be taking over. Just trying to figure out what's going on here. It looks like Reserenn died? Or had to restart for some reason? Sophia in a pretty big lead, and Reserenn's timer shows 13 minutes. That's the only thing I can think of. Oh, so I just found out that his internet is causing an 8-minute delay. That's really interesting. I'm really unsure as to how I'm gonna commentate this, but hopefully things get better for Reserenn, and maybe it'll pick up later. As you can see on Reserenn's screen, it is a picture book. Sophia, though, having a pretty good Sector 4 leaving after Sarah's fight. Everything looks a-okay. Oh, Sophia missing the platform there to lower the water. Fortunately was able to get the Shine Spark coming back. No missile shame here. Let's see if we can get that low height. Perfectly done. Alright, so Sophia with the max amount of missiles entering Sector 3, 25 missiles. It looks like Sophia picked up the main deck missiles. Should be no issues here for the upcoming boss fight and the subsequent missile barrier coming up. Unless something happens, but I don't think that will. Alright, Sophia on the way to Sector 3. There's a really interesting trick coming up for Sector 3 that involves a one-frame window to store a shine spark after falling from mid-air. It's possible. I think Metroid Fusion is the only game where it's possible to do a speed jump and store a shine spark upon landing, but it can only be done on the very first frame Samus's foot touches the ground. Let's see if Sophia can do it. Nope. No swag here. This is a swag-free run. Taking a look at Reserenn's side, there's an eye door, there's a charge beam, and there's no more eye door, and no more charge beam. Sophia on her way to the Bob missile, making sure to plant that bomb before picking up the missile pack to save just a little bit of time there, instead of having to wait for the bomb. We wait while we pick up the missile pack. No data spark for Sophia here. Alright, let's see how the box fight goes. Sophia opting to take it a little bit safe here with the box fight, completely skipping the opener in which you can shoot at box the moment you see it. This results in box dying just a little bit to the left there, and Sophia will have to wait for box to crawl over and destroy the ceiling. Meanwhile, Reserenn appears to have picked up the high jump and spring ball. Huh. I don't know if you saw it, but on Reserenn's screen, charge beam kind of looks like big fat W's. You never really get to look at the charge beam in a still frame shot. Mystery Man on the screen. Kind of looks like a CEO of something. As Sophia makes her way to Sector 6. Really good on missile count here, and no issues at all getting through the missile barrier. Alright, if you can read what Adam is trying to say, Sector 6 has bunch of blue ice axes that damage Samus, because Samus is not equipped with the Various suit. And as you know through the lore of the game that we skipped through, Samus has developed a vulnerability to ice as a side effect of the Metroid vaccination she received. So the ice axes are indeed a danger, and they do tons of damage, up to about 70 if Samus does pick up the blue X. Fortunately though, the blue X's can be stunned by beams and missiles. Now if only you could stun yellow and green X's to pick them up. But we don't want to make it that easy. As you can see, there is Super Metroid Samus with the Super Metroid Various suit. Sophia decided to take it very safe there, allowing SAX to step forward a few more steps than the optimal, but that does guarantee that there are no accidents in provoking SAX early. Very nice zero beam there. It takes a lot of skill, believe me, to get a zero beam. Sophia seems to have lost control of the Mega Corex here. One more shot ought to do it though. Oh, unless it's a missed shot. And there you go. Looking good on health here. There should be no issues with this Corex. And there it is. The best looking suit in the game. 10 out of 10. Would wear again. And on Reserenn's side, it looks like this is the map to Sector 4. Reserenn at Sector 4, or at least appears to be at Sector 4. We are completely unsure because Sophia having difficulty wall jumping there. It's going to cost her a little bit of time. Those pesky puffers. Alright, Sophia now is safely out of Sector 6, although she took a little bit of damage here. But it should not be an issue, I don't think, because Sector 5 does have a few ice X's, and at this point picking up Various suit means that the ice or blue X's now heal Samus for, I think it's 30 health. But at this point though, since the X's are intelligent things, they realize that they can no longer damage Samus, so the AI of the Blue X now is basically going to run away from Samus. It's really it's a very nice minor detail of the game where when you saw Samus first picking up the Varia suit, all these blue X's started attacking Samus, but nothing happened. So they realized they're like, oh, well, I guess I better run away. And now you actually have to chase them if you want their health. Alright, so Sophia now navigating through Sector 5. Meanwhile, Reserenn clinging on to that ledge there. So as you can see, the blue X's are just like, no, please don't absorb me. Pretty clean Sector 5 so far from Sophia. No big issues. No unnecessary damage. And Sophia will now be unlocking the yellow doors, or level 2 doors. Or is it level 3? I think it's level 3. Yeah, it's level... Sorry. Nobody really calls it by its number. It's the blue, green, yellow, red doors. Alright, it looks like Reserenn did kill Ceres and is fighting the Corax right now. Sophia now equipped with the ice missile upgrade. All missiles now freeze the enemy. And Fusion really wants you to test out the new upgrades that you get by creating puzzles in rooms immediately after the upgrade that depend on the upgrade that you just got. As you saw there, Sophia had to freeze a mutated Kago to use it as a platform. And Sector 3 will be featuring a lot of ice missile use here, freeze stretchies and whatnot.
Emergency in Sector 3.
What's that?
Emergency in Sector 3.
Oh, is it really an emergency?
Emergency in Sector 3.
I guess it is.
Emergency.
It's really fortunate that the game decided that the emergency would be in Sector 3. Because if it was emergency in Sector 5, there would be no Franker Z spamming right now. So Sophia has 6 minutes to figure out what's going on in Sector 3 and to resolve the issue. Otherwise, the entire station will blow up due to a meltdown. No real trouble here for Sophia navigating through the depths of Sector 3. Oh, 5 minutes you said. Dang. We don't have much time, Samus. Oh, Sophia missing that freeze shot on the side hopper there, but is able to recover. If she's not careful, these side hoppers do a lot of damage. And getting knocked around like that could probably mean death if you're not careful. But Sophia knows what she's doing. Wide beam get. Unfortunately, this game decides that the spazer is now a wide beam. Which to me is a really good name change when you consider that to some Super Metroid runners, the spazer is not really the best thing that you can get. What is it, like half the community really hates Spazer Beam? So we'll change the name to Wide Beam, and no one will be the wiser. Leaving Sector 3, Sophia will have to do a pretty interesting climb here. Let's see if she does go for it. I guess not. We'll have to go the old-fashioned way. There is a way to use those stretchies as platforms when you freeze them for a slightly faster climb. But Sophia did take a few hits from those stretchies. A stretchy projectile that they spit out actually does a lot of damage, and if you're kind of low and you take a hit from them, you could probably die because you'll get knocked off your ladder, and two, the stretchies will tend to follow up with a stretch after shooting at you. On Reserenn's side, it looks like Reserenn just finished unlocking the green door. Although, keep in mind that there are confirmed issues with Reserenn's internet, and Reserenn is actually much further ahead of what you see now. And it looks like the delay is just getting worse. The last time we checked, Reserenn was about 8 minutes behind. But it appears now that Reserenn is in excess of 20 minutes behind. Well, not excess, but probably exactly 20 minutes behind. Sophia going for intended strats here for the climb, going up to the animals room. I guess those were okay animals. Alright, Sophia successfully saved the remaining non-infected living things in the station. And Adam is, oh, well, I guess they're not human. We'll just leave them alone. Adam, with no heart here, decides that because they're not human, we should just let them fend for themselves. The animals are no stranger to danger. As you recall, in Super Metroid, they were trapped in a room during a disastrous moment where an entire planet blew up, but Samus luckily decided to check other things instead of going straight for the ship, saving the animals' lives, and now they're back, waiting to be saved one more time. Meanwhile, Reserenn, it looks like, took care of Box properly, although Reserenn does have only 3 super missiles and may have some issues with Sector 6 coming up. Sophia making pretty good time on her way to the power bombs, although health might be of some concern here. Maybe not. There will be a red X coming up here after this SAX encounter, and if Sophia does pick up the red X, then there should be no issues. Otherwise, the spitters in the spitter corridor may be a threat to Sophia, as those spitters do a lot of damage. Basically, don't touch anything. Don't, that's probably the theme of this game. Don't touch anything, and you won't die. Sophia opting to do the perfect stealth method, not provoking SAX on her way out of this room. Sophia does decide to pick up the red X, and will be in no immediate danger here. Oh, Sophia not opening the door, causing her to lose that speed booster momentum, and we'll have to use a power bomb against that barrier. Alright, at this point in the game, Sophia will now be entering the Gauntlet, which is a sequence of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bosses. Well, the original Gauntlet are the three bosses in where you fight them basically back to back to back. And then you're treated with a nice break, which is story time with Adam. And then you'll finish off the other 3 bosses. As you can see, that was Ridley. Ridley was killed in some other Metroid game. And this space station has the remains of Ridley for scientific research. But you may not have seen an X fly away from its corpse. Sophia planting that powerbomb a little bit too early, but was fortunate enough to break one of the powerbomb blocks. Sophia won't be able to speed boost her through that room, but at least she can morph and get through it. From what I understand, Metroid Fusion is the last game in the timeline, which includes Prime. I'm being told that Sophia chose not to safety save here. When you consider Sophia has been doing safety strats since the start, I don't think it would be a big issue, at least health-wise, dying to any of these bosses, but things can go horribly wrong. Metroid Fusion is all about the just waiting for things to go horribly wrong. Alright, let's see how Yakuza treats Sophia. Pretty good start, although... Okay, yeah, Yakuza is brown, so the next volley of missiles here will phase him into the legless space jump phase. And whoop, there go all the legs. And now we have a head-tumbling boss. Sophia going for the safety strats here, using Charge Beam. The reason why Charge Beam is a safety strat here is because the Wide Beam is large enough to destroy those things that Yakuza spit out, and basically you don't have to worry about them as much, although the Charge Beam is slow compared to missiles. So it's rarely used in a like a PB attempt run, unless you run out of missiles for some reason. All right, the backup power is now on, but we don't want to be working on backup power. We have to find out what's wrong with the real power. As you can see now on Sophia's side, all those red Zoros in Sector 2 have now fully metamorphosed into key hunters, which are more dangerous than the Zoros. Key hunters do in excess of 100 damage. You don't want to get hit by them at all. Of course, you don't want to get hit by SAX either. Pretty good escape from Sophia, no damage at all. Alright, this seems to be the source of all those vegetation issues. It looks like a Chozo. Or is it a Torizo? I don't know. It's golden though. Oh, is this GT? Man, GT has really fell on some hard times after losing the Samus in Super Metroid. Found himself washed up and wrapped up by vines. Sophia handling GT, or Netori, which is the actual name, with no issues here. Sophia now having the plasma beam does significant damage, as the properties of plasma beam are different than that of the wide beam or the normal charge beam, where the plasma beam can now penetrate enemies, dealing damage per frame instead of a set number of damage per pellet. Sophia finally figuring out what the source of the issue is and resolves it, and now there's another problem. Sector 5 is being damaged by a thing, and Adam asked Sophia to investigate. So back to Sector 5 we go. Oh, Sophia trying to go for some swag here? Or will it be the Shine Spark? Oh, look at this. If I were Sophia though, I would not try some swag strats, because we really don't know how far, how much ahead or behind Reserenn is. According to what people are saying in the chat, Reserenn's actually a minute ahead of Sophia when they compare split times. So Sophia, who's been taking it safe the entire run up until this point, decides to do probably one of the most difficult tricks in the game. All I have to ask is it worth it? Apparently, it's always worth it. Alright, let's see how Nightmare fares for Sophia. Pretty good opener there with a 5-shot. It could have been a 4-shot if Sophia decided to use missiles along with the plasma. But overall, not a bad start. Although Sophia tinking a few missiles here, a little bit higher than Nightmare's hitbox there. Sophia having difficulty getting Nightmare to stop, and when she does, Nightmare is just too high for Sophia to climb on the ladder and spam missiles. So we're gonna give it another shot here. Oh, now Nightmare is too close, so Sophia will suffer another round. She needs to be really careful not to take any more damage. Nightmare hits like a truck. Oh, once again, too high. Sophia in danger now of dying. 2 more hits and it's all over. Can she finally get Nightmare to stop moving? And she does. Not out of the woods yet. Core X's do about 40 damage. So she'll need to be really careful here not to take any hits from the Core X. Wisely picking up the yellow X's for that chance of survival. A lot of spaghetti in that fight, but Sophia survives and will continue. Alright, coming up for Sophia's lower sector 4. And the theme is, as usual, everything hits really hard. But Sophia does have 5 E-tanks. And can afford to be hit a few times here or there. Sophia failing to speed jump onto those bomb blocks there. And we'll have to just plant a regular bomb. The red doors are now unlocked. You may now freely move about the cabin as all doors can be opened at this point. Oh, Sophia having some issues with the fish pirates. Meanwhile, Reserenn, looks like Reserenn in this picture just got the ice beam. Ice missiles, sorry. Sophia, while Sophia did pick up 5 E-tanks, she did take like 400 damage. So, Sophia kind of needs to be careful here because there will be no red X's between now until box 2, which is the next fight, unless she gets really lucky. So health management is somewhat of a thing here, because box 2 can also kill you as it does a lot of damage, and if you're not consistent with the fight, then you could have issues. Sophia with the final missile upgrade of the game, as you saw there. It makes snowflakes that twirl around. The diffusion missile, when fully charged and shot, creates a circular AoE that freezes everything in its path. Alright, Sophia is being told to check out Sector 6, but don't check out Sector 6. Basically what Adam said. If you're not aware of the story, Adam tells Sophia to figure out what's going on in Sector 6, but don't venture too far out, because there's a bunch of secrets that they don't want Samus to know. Oh, an emergency. Reserenn showing off the red screen there, indicating an emergency in Sector 3. I would have to say that the plasma beam in Metroid Fusion sounds the best out of all the other plasma beams. It sounds so what's the word? It sounds brutal. Sophia taking basically every shot here. She's gonna have to figure out a way to get box 2 to quit moving around. Dump some missiles in there. Box 2 is one of the harder box fights, technically, because it has a very, very small hitbox, and your missile shots have to be very precise. Otherwise, you'll just tink every shot and increase the chance of Box knocking you off the ceiling like he does for Sophia right now. Just a few more hits for Sophia and Box will be completely done. Maybe one more hit. Maybe one more hit. And there you go. Once again, not out of the woods yet, because box 2 uncovers a beam core, which has the wave beam that does a lot of damage to Samus if hit. And I think at 93 health, that wave beam can kill you, but fortunately, Sophia, being the master of the Matrix a la Neo, dodges that last wave beam at the last moment.
No entry without authorization. Warning, no entry without authorization. Warning, no entry without authorization.
Once again, Sophia
Warning,
barely surviving and getting out of that boss fight there.
warning, no entry without authorization.
Looks like those Metroids are having a rave in that tube thing.
Alert. This sector will soon be locked down. 60 seconds to isolation lockdown.
Oh, these Metroids are everywhere.
50.
And there goes the research lab. Piece by piece. Alright, so we don't know for sure exactly where Reserenn is, so what I'm going to do is keep an eye out on Speedruns Live SRL to wait for any duns that might happen during this, because chat seems to be keeping track of Reserenn's time versus Sophia, and it looks like Reserenn is actually ahead. And you know, unfortunately, he has really bad internet, and it just keeps getting worse, because what used to be an 8-minute delay is now I can't even count, like 30 minutes so far or more. I intentionally chose to be quiet there so you can listen to the soothing sounds of Ridley ASMR. Sophia getting the final upgrade of the game, the screw attack. Extremely powerful. There is only one thing that can stop Samus in the screw attack animation, and that is another screw attack. This makes Samus completely invincible to every single attack in the game, minus SAX's own screw attack. So you're going to see that being used to our advantage here. Using screw attack to dodge projectiles or just flat out kill anything in its path. Not that far off from the end of the run, Sophia has one more job to do. And that job is to destroy BSL Laboratories. I really don't want to spoil it for you, but I have to. Because this is a race and I have to announce the winner. Reserenn did a done with an SRL time of 1 hour, 17 minutes, and 10 seconds. Now all we're watching is the slideshow proof of the run, which might take a while. Sophia now in the navigation room for some resident sleeper text. Whew! Wake me up when this cutscene ends. Yo, we're all living in 2018. Reserenn is living in 2028. And we're just watching history right now. Sophia, one last elevator ride onto the main deck. Just a few moments away from the final SAX encounter, in which there is no escape. Winner takes all, do or die. Only one thing leaves that room alive. Which will it be? As you can see there, a stream restart from Reserenn, and we are now warped to the cutscenes. Did I say cutscene? I meant end credits. Reserenn figuring out the credits warp, what that we so desperately needed for this game. And here we go, mono a thingo. SAX, not a human. Sophia going for the safety strats here. And the safety strat is to shoot your charge beam and jump over SAX when SAX gets closer. It's looking like it's going to be a perfect fight, but I spoke way too soon. It seems to happen every single time I say something. SAX is down and has now mutated into Monster SAX. You see that? That thing's tongue has tongues sticking out of its big tongue. Very nice, clean fight there against the Ice Core X, trapping it under the platform while revealing or exposing the eye for easy shooting.
Propulsion sequence activated. Destination planet SR-388. Propulsion sequence activated. Destination planet SR-388.
Final escape sequence here for Sophia. 2 minutes and 40 seconds to go. Oh, Sophia accidentally wind sparking against the wall there. And we'll have to walk through this room that seems to be in shambles. I wonder why. Oh, what is this egg thing doing here? Oh, it's an Omega Metroid. Gotta have at least one Metroid appearance if you want to call it Metroid, right? Let's see if Sophia can get the stun lock here. Oh, standing a little too close and now a little too far. Sophia will have to deal with Omega and avoiding Omega's swipes. Sophia decides to duke it out. Blow for blow. Sophia wins the fight versus Omega Metroid and does a little teabagging, and just a few moments now for the ship to pick her up, and it will be GG. GG to both runners. Reserenn finished in first place with a time of 1:17.18. Sophia in second place with an SRL time of 1:25.13. Sophia forgetting to hit .done when the race was over. And unfortunately, we go by SRL time here. So I will have to put that in the record as a 1:57.34. I'm sorry, not 1:57.34. 1:25.13 is the official time. GG to Reserenn, moving on to round 3, the quarterfinals. And we'll face off against the winner of Pulsemore versus Crunchy Lex, which is going to happen tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, where Sophia will be put in the loser's bracket to face off against Boxmeister. Let me see if I can get these runners into the voice channel here for some questioning, if you will. Please stay in your seats, as there will be another Metroid Fusion race coming up right after this in the same channel. Will feature Mickey Now versus Slender Max in round 2 of the winner's bracket. Sophia mentioning in the chat, PB. Let's see what the PB is. 055. Congratulations to Sophia on that PB. Very, very nice. It's really nice to see runners in this tournament get PBs during a tournament. Fusion, it seems like activity in Fusion kind of spiked due to the tournament, and now people are getting PBs everywhere. So congratulations again to Sophia, and it looks like Reserenn is ready for an interview. And let me see if I can drag him in here. Congratulations to Reserenn. You won first place with an SRL time of 1:17.18. How do you feel about the race? And first question is, did you realize that there was an issue with your stream?
No, not at all.
Yeah.
I knew in the very beginning. Fiesel told me, so I restarted it, and then I guess it bugged out like 10 minutes afterward or something.
Oh, I see. Yeah, it was getting really bad. Like at one point, you were your stream was like 30 minutes behind, and it was basically a slideshow the entire run.
Yeah. Internet's not being kind to me lately.
That's understandable, but fortunately, you did not quit the game to fix the issue. Which would have been bad.
Pause. So in the very beginning, when I was getting one of the missile packs, I paused for like 5 seconds to start the stream up, and I realize now that if I didn't do that, I would have gotten a 48.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, that could have. Well, no, if you paused, then
I didn't pause.
Oh,
I just.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's definitely a factor. That would have been a PB for you, right?
Yeah, it would have been like a 48.59 or something.
Yeah, that sucks. But I mean, hopefully you can get another run just like this.
Oh yeah, definitely easy. I mean, I got 3 ice core doubles, so that helped.
Very, very nice. All right. So it looks like you're going to be facing off against the winner of Pulsemore or Pulsemore versus Crunchy Lex. Who would you rather face off against?
I don't know.
Just bring him. Said.
Yeah, either one.
Yeah. All right, Reserenn, not afraid of who his next challenge will be, and hopefully you can get a PB before then. It would definitely make the race more interesting.
Yeah, I'm probably not going to be taking safety strats next time because of that.
Yeah, especially if Pulsemore does advance into the next round and face off against you, then you would have you definitely have a challenge against Pulsemore. All right. Do you have any final comments? We're about to switch over to the next race.
Good luck to the next runners.
All right. Thank you again, Reserenn and GG. Congratulations with your SRL personal best, improving it by 34 seconds.
All right. Thanks. Later.
Yep. See ya. All right. Just stay where you are. Use the bathroom, get some water, something. And there will be another race here shortly.